Hello and welcome back to Machinations of Thought pertaining to one Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 2. That was really pretentious and pompous, but let's just say I was doing a Giles impression. If you haven't watched part 1, go watch part 1. If you have watched part 1, Episode 12. Bad Eggs. Buffy and her friends encounter even more trouble than expected when the eggs they are given in health class turn out to be prehistoric parasites that take over their lives. This episode was the worst in so many ways. First of all, way too much kissing. Just too much. I'm all for kissing, but that was too much kissing. It was too much. Second of all, today's monster of the week, things that are hatched from eggs and latch themselves onto people and just not on, is it? Just not on. And then they make Xander almost eat one. Just not happy with it. Not happy about it. Not only that, but they are dramatic irony bugs, meaning that when they attach themselves to you, they have mind controlled you to a very how shall I say believable extent. So Willow's still acting like Willow, except for the part where she's also secretly mind controlled by a prehistoric parasite that wants to kill everybody. And we the viewer know this, and Buffy the character doesn't. And it's annoying. And did I mention quite gross? Did I mention the stereotypical racist cowboy vampires? There were stereotypical racist cowboy vampires. There was a whole scene where they decided to beat each other up to see who was the strongest. It was the worst. I had almost forgotten about them, and then they showed up in the final scene, and they started to try and beat up Buffy, and then they ended up walking into the place where all the mind control parasite people were mining things, and they were like, what the hell is this? And then they just started beating up the parasite mind control people for no reason. Are they gonna help Buffy? No, they're still trying to beat her up at the same time. Does this make any sense whatsoever? No, there was a gas leak apparently, but I think it might have been in the writer's room. Seriously, that's how they explain away the whole thing. A gas leak. But hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. So one of the stereotypical racist cowboy vampires falls into the big hole with a big fleshy prehistoric mother thing, and then he gets eaten. And then his brother was like, oh damn, that bad. And then Buffy is like, don't worry, I've got grabbed and I'm in mortal peril, but I have a pickaxe. So there's just going to be some off-screen beat-up sounds and then a lot of blue blood. And then she jumps out, chipper as you please, and the vampire looks at her and he goes, okay, and then he runs away, never to be seen again, hopefully. And then they explain away the whole thing as a gas leak. And does Buffy get rewarded for any of this? No, she is still grounded. She was grounded to begin with, which as we all know is good and enjoyable television, but now she's super grounded, meaning she can only give Angel kissy kissies at the window, but don't worry, we will be sure to include a scene of her giving Angel many kissy kissies. Let's move on with our lives. Episode 13. Surprise. To give Buffy a surprise on her 17th birthday, Drusilla and Spike bring together the body parts of a dismembered demon who cannot be killed. Not a demon, that's something else. Crikey, and I thought I saw a lot of kissing last episode. So I don't know how to go about talking about this tastefully, but this is the episode where Buffy and Angel get it on. But like, it's her 17th birthday, so it's not that weird, right? Yes, it is. It's still weird. It's fine, no, whatever. You're not supposed to think about that. You're supposed to think about how romantic it was. How romantic. It was interesting to see Spike wheelchair bound in this episode, to see the aftermath of what Buffy did to him last time. And to see Drusilla in a place of power, it's like a role reversal from the rest of the season that we've seen so far. Also, a demon who could not be killed but was taken out by one CRT TV telly dropping on him. That was really difficult to say. Would not recommend that sentence. Did you catch the part where the demon told Spike and Drusilla that they stink of humanity because of their affection towards each other? That was interesting. I wonder if that's going to come up again. Also, oh damn, Miss Calendar was secretly bad lady all along? What? Not a fan of that development, to be honest. I quite like her. Also, if I hadn't accidentally read the next episode's synopsis, I would have no idea what was going on when Angel suddenly leaped up, ran out of his bed and yelled, Buffy! Into the rain. You'll hear the synopsis in a minute, which is kind of a spoiler for what happens in the episode, but I'm almost glad I did get spoiled it, because, like, given the context of what had just transpired there, what? Episode 14. innocence.
I hate that they called it that.
Buffy and her friends battle a judge and face an unexpected danger from Angel, who has lost his soul after experiencing a moment of true happiness. Oh boy, it's the heartbreak episode where everybody's hearts are broken in the most horrible of ways. Giles finds out that Miss Calendar isn't all that she says she is. Willow finds that Xander's been thinking with his dick. And Buffy discovers that her boyfriend and true love, Angel, has turned into a soulless vampire who relishes in the delight of her agony. So that was fun. Who the fuck writes this shit? This is horrible. Joss Whedon? What the fuck's a Joss Whedon? Anyway, this was truly one of the cruelest fates I've ever seen dished out to a fictional character. If I was Buffy at this point, I would have just laid down and died. Like, honestly, holy shit, that's horrible. Props to her for not laying down and dying. Now, look, I've seen this series before in parts, as I mentioned in earlier videos, because my sister watched it all the time. I'm aware that Angel probably gets his soul back. I'm pretty sure I've seen him being a friendly dude in some other scenes than this, but like, this episode, how do you even get back on track with that dude after all that? Yikes. Like, I know that dude wasn't that dude, but he looked like that dude, and he sounded like that dude. Dude. And motherfucking Giles coming in at the end with the pep talk at the end saying he's proud of her and all that. And cutting onions? What the fuck? Episode 15. Phases. Buffy and her friends discover secrets about themselves as they battle a werewolf, its hunter, and their own emotions. Well, reset the counter on the days since protagonist had a love interest that wasn't secretly some sort of mythological beast calendar. I already had an inkling that Oz was going to be a werewolf based on my prior knowledge, but I thought he was already one and he was just hiding it. Turns out, nope. That werewolf hunter, by the way, was an absolute pillock. Giles, you were correct in your usage of the term pillock. Angel sending Buffy's dead friend to kill her as a vampire. Jesus Christ. This show does not let up. Oh, and Xander still being jealous, even while he's, making out with Cordelia. That's just... he's the worst. Episode 16. Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. As Valentine's Day approaches, Xander tries to improve his love life through witchcraft, and finds himself with too much of a good thing. I was really worried about the synopsis of this episode because I thought they meant witch Viagra, but luckily even Buffy doesn't go that far. The show, that is. No, however, Xander did instead cast a love spell on everyone except Cordelia, so that was an interesting one. Not gonna lie, this episode was pretty hilarious. Giles's unrestrained disgust at Xander for what he had done was amazing. Also, Buffy getting turned into a rat. Every now and again I post on social media like Buffy the Snake Demon Slayer or something like that. Whatever the weirdest one I've seen so far is the one I put up there. But I just put Buffy the Rat. I think this was a very importantly comedic episode after all of the heavy shit that just went down. And I'm sure more heavy shit is still to come. By the way, it was cool to see the return of a girl whose mother got turned into a cheerleader statue. I was beginning to wonder what would happen to all of these characters who kind of know about the other side of things with supernatural events and all that, but they just kind of kept disappearing after every episode, so when I saw her I was like, wait, is that Amy? Episode 17. Passion. Angel steps up his torment of Buffy and her friends as Jenny searches for a way to restore his soul. Jenny Calendar, no! So the thing that's most curious for me is that I know Angel probably gets his soul back because I know he's in later seasons and I know he has his own show and everything, so I know that this does get resolved somehow, but I am surprised at how far they let him go down the evil, soulless vampire route. Like, how does he ever redeem himself? Like, again, I know that it's not him, but still, at this point, how does any of the characters ever reconcile that of like, oh, it's okay, that wasn't him, that was just the evil vampire version of him, we can be friends again. The scene with the phone call where Giles calls Buffy and tells her what's happened before he's taken away by the police, and you just see, without any words, Buffy's reaction to the news on the phone, and then Willow's reaction to the news on the phone. Oh my god, that is such a horrible scene, especially with Angel just smiling outside the house watching them. Also, when Angel approached Buffy's mother, this whole episode is just... Poor Giles, man. Poor fucking Giles. He kicks ass, by the way. When he he starts whacking Angel around the face with that flaming stick, he kicks ass. But man, the raw grief of him just shouting at Buffy for coming and saving him, and then, you know, Buffy hitting him and then hugging him, and this show is doing things to me. And I hate that they did the whole, okay, I guess we should kill him. There's no use holding on to the past anymore. As you see the cure that, that Miss Calendar made for him, just falling down the edge of the desk. I hate that. Episode 18. Killed by death. While hospitalized with a severe case of the flu, Buffy battles a demon that sucks the life out of sick children. Amazing episode to watch in the middle of a pandemic. So the best thing to come out of this episode was Willow's frogs distraction, where they are cornered by security guards, so she just starts yelling, frogs, 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 oh, no one over me, get above, frogs, frogs, frogs. Definitely going to be using that one in future. But no, I tend to hate episodes which focuses on the main characters having the flu. I don't even like that episode of Futurama where Bender has the robot version of it. It's just, I'm not about it. It's just, no. Also, the villain in this episode was basically just, well, let's just say they should have called this A Nightmare at Sunnydale Hospital. Except instead of big claw things, he had eye sucker things. Episode 19. I Only Have Eyes for You. Sunnydale High School is haunted by the ghosts of a former student and teacher, who reenact their tragic romance through the bodies of the school's current inhabitants. This episode was really cleverly made with how they've made this entire story about the couple from 1955 and how they relate to Buffy and Angel in the current day. To me, this is like the perfect Monster of the Week style episode, where you've got the big story arc points episodes along the way, but then the ones in between don't just have to be something random or stupid or silly. They can be they don't necessarily have to advance the story, but they can really explore everything behind what those major plot points do to the characters. Also, we got to see Willow take her first steps into the witch stuff, which I believe she explores later on, so that's pretty cool, or I guess the pagan stuff, or whatever it's called. And old bloody hell, Spike's back in the game, innit? Sarah Michelle Gellar played the horror of being possessed by a poltergeist, which is about to make her try and take her own life, really well. That was super interesting. Episode 20. Go Fish! Members of a Sunnydale swim team are killed by a gill monster of unknown origin. My favourite thing about this episode is that Willow begins by joking that they have a super high mortality rate, and then that mortality rate increases. Also, she's basically a teacher now. I hope they're paying her, but they're probably not. I have to wonder if there's any human being out there alive who considers the episode where a bunch of the swim team of Sunnydale High got turned into fish monsters to be their favourite episode. Is that like a thing? Do people like this kind of story? Because, like, man, fish smell, and then like water's all gross and wet, and then people are thrashing around, and then like all of the environments are like they're going through sewers and drippy places and just Also, Angel showed up, and then he was like, hi, I'm still the villain of the series, and then he left again. I took one look at the synopsis of this episode and was like, okay, we're doing one more of these before the finale then. Cool, got it, understood. Episode 21. Becoming Part 1. Angel plots to revive an ancient demon bent on sweeping everything on Earth into hell itself. They really need to start doing something like nailing crosses to all of the walls in the library. I think that would make a lot of sense. It was really cool to see the origins of Angel and like how he got turned into a vampire and how he met Drusilla and what it was like when he got cursed and then what it was like before he met Buffy. That was really cool. I'm glad we got to see all of that. Also, I'm glad that they finally found a goddamn floppy disk and they did the fake out where she didn't bother picking it up and she was like, oh, deja vu, which, you know, maybe that was some kind of like a intuition from beyond the grave, like, oh no, Buffy, you should find the floppy disk and all that. I don't know if they're gonna bring that up again. Slayer number 2 came back. Slayer number 2 died. I technically predicted it. Look, it's difficult to see a character who's basically Buffy's parallel in every single way and not have them exist for the sole purpose of being killed off at some point to make Buffy realise how serious the situation is. Anyway, on to part 2. Episode 22. Becoming Part 2. Spike strikes an unlikely alliance with Buffy to keep Angel from destroying the world. Holy shit, poor Buffy. That was just cruel. That was so cruel. God damn it, Xander, worst character, absolute worst character. It's his fault. Well, I guess it's not his fault, but like it's still kind of his fault. But I guess it's not really his fault. But I'm blaming it on him to have Angel get his soul restored after opening the portal to hell, which can only be closed by him having to die. Yikes! Anyway, also in this episode, I really enjoyed Buffy teaming up with Spike, which is kind of a fun foreshadowing of things to come, I think. I also really enjoyed Buffy's mother learning that Buffy was a vampire slayer, whether she fully understands it and believes it or not. Have we met before? Yes, you hit me with an axe. Oh, the whole stay away from my daughter thing. I did think that it was kind of interesting that the Buffy telling her mother her secret about being a vampire slayer scene was played like a coming out scene, with the parent not being very supportive either. Like, at first it was done comedically, like, have you tried not being the vampire slayer? Like, have you tried not being into women? Like, that kind of thing. But then I think it kept that theme as it got more real and Buffy's mum chucked her out of the house, you know? Like, damn. It was, in a warped way, oddly fulfilling to see a show that has spent so many episodes at this point dealing with keeping things secret, keeping consequences contained, all that kind of stuff, making sure that Buffy's life still kind of fits together. It was really interesting to see this episode just finally throw it all out the window and have it so that Buffy's mum knows that she's Vampire Slayer, you know, their relationship completely breaks down and everything, and that she gets chucked out of the house and everything, and then also she gets expelled from school, which she's been trying not to do for all year, and then also, like, the police think she's murdered someone and they're after her and all this, and yeah, and then she has to kill Angel as well, you know, the vampire that she loves. It all kind of comes together. Again, though, with the foreknowledge, Angel is in a lot of the promotional art for Season 3 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I know we're not done with Angel. So I'm guessing next season is going to focus on trying to open a gateway to hell just to save him, and then, you know, close the gateway to hell again, or stuff like that. But yes, now I see why Season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is rated so highly in IMDb. It really brought the show forwards. It had memorable villains who you actually cared about. It had a really interesting storyline and character relationships, and it also had some really weird, goofy, funny episodes as well, and it was just really well done the entire way round. Like, I am legitimately gripped with the prospect of Angel losing his soul and doing all the evil stuff he does, because I feel like a lot of stories like this, they would have parts where Angel had this kind of doubt within himself even while he was doing all of the evil stuff. But this show, no, he is like full-fledged as evil can be, and I can't think of many shows or stories that are brave enough to let you become that attached to a character who is good, just to show this side of them, this unrestrained side of them, like in so many ways, I guess, in so many instances. And there's still 5 more seasons to this show. Damn, dude, we're gonna be here for a while, and I'm glad that we are. To my knowledge, I don't know if any of the later seasons had bad critical reception or anything like that. I just know that my sister liked them, and I probably liked them too, so there we go. I will see you hopefully very soon for the first half of Season 3. Thank you for listening to these things. They seem to be doing quite well as far as my videos go, so thank you for being interested. And I also have an interesting thoughts per chapter video going up soon on one of the most important books from my childhood, which has some similarities to this series. So speculate all you like. I will see you there.